makes it better. Wrecking ball, tear apart, issues left behind, restart. Nothing you say makes it better. Bring it right back to me, baby. No, we've been here before. Give me the real this time, no cap, no lies. It's our own door. Bring it right back to me, baby. I know my heart wants more. Give me the good this time, no cap, no lies. It's our own. I never wanna give you up. I know we've been through way too much, but I'm confident we'll make it through. I'm here for you, you're not by yourself. Later, talk, body talk. There's no need to bring it up. Nothing you say makes it better. Wrecking ball, tear apart, issues left behind, restart. Nothing you say makes it better. Bring it right back to me, baby. No, we've been here before. Give me the real this time, no cap, no lies. It's our own door. Bring it right back to me, baby. I know my heart wants more. Give me the good this time, no cap, no lies. It's our own door. You never feel the way I feel. You don't know if my love is real. Baby, listen to me, here's the deal. When you're not here, I'm not the same. I'm reading a new chapter, babe. Been stuck here in a bed for days. I've been staring at the telephone, cause when you're gone, I miss your face. Later talk, body talk. There's no need to bring it up. Nothing you say makes it better. Wrecking ball, tear apart, issues left behind, restart. Nothing you say makes it better. Bring it right back to me, baby. No, we've been here before. Give me the real this time, no cap, no lies. It's our own door. Bring it right back to me, baby. I know my heart wants more. Give me the good this time, no cap, no lies. It's our own. I never wanna give you up. I know we've been through way too much, but I'm confident we'll make it through. I'm here for you, you're not by yourself.
You guys out there in Instagram land,
Later talk, body talk.
about
There's no
30
need
seconds
to bring it up. Nothing you say makes it better.
we'll get this started in about
Wrecking ball, tear apart, issues left behind, restart. Nothing you say makes it better. Bring it right back to me, baby. No, we've been here before. Give me the real this time, no cap, no lies. It's our own door. Bring it right back to me, baby. I know my heart wants more. Give me the good this time, no cap, no lies. It's our own door.
And we are live on a bunch of different channels: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube right now. You guys can dial in. All right, so you'll notice a few different features that I'm playing with tonight. You can see the show starts timer that I am running on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. So you guys get a little heads up and warning before me and the crew just start talking so you don't miss what we want to say. All right. So these will start to be scheduled. So you'll be able to tune in live. And let me move that big ugly thing out of there. All right. So what else? All right. So you guys can dial in now. So you can talk to me about weed. You can talk to me about the drug war. You can talk to me about failed American policies. You can talk to me about psychedelics. You can talk to me about psychedelics research. You can talk to me about what it's like to be on the ground, boots on the ground in the psychedelic and weed and CBD and hemp spaces. A lot of Americans have no idea how it actually goes, right? From farm to table, I have been around the block in the industry and I have seen the best and the worst, right? And tonight's topic is pretty much dedicated to what the American cannabis and psychedelic space and the plant medicine space really should be and really should become, and who that is going to benefit the most and who the players should be. All right. And so by that, I really mean these industries should be a majority of American families. All right. The cannabis crop is going to be the largest cash crop in America. All right. And so that means that the majority of people participating in the cannabis crop should be who? The American people, the American public, not corporate interests. So what we've seen, right, in California is a failure of the regulations to basically be upheld by the regulators. And so what that means is that we have seen and let me take this stuff off. The show has started in Facebook and Twitter and YouTube land, so I'll take those little features off the show. But yeah, if you're watching in Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter land, X, you'll see that we have a number 310-494-6544, 310-494-6544, and you can actually dial that, and you'll get connected right into to me here, okay? And so that's pretty cool. So that gives you the ability to call us, and as we start having a revolving cast of characters, as I call all the different folks that are involved in basically the industry with me, you'll be able to ask us questions, okay? And so where is the industry going? Who should be the majority of the players in the industry? Things like that are the topics that I want to talk about tonight. So I was talking about families. The American family businesses should be the largest block of folks, I think, participating in these industries, not corporate interests, as we all know, who take profits and basically suck them offshore and out of the American economy, just like they've done with all of our jobs, further destabilizing the United States and further harming the American public. And then I think, right, where does this industry go, right? So you've had basically the corrupt in the government and the corrupt super rich, whatever they want to call themselves, the Illuminati, just idiots and big pharma, whoever, right? The rich and the powerful have basically made cannabis and all these plant medicines illegal for corporate gain and profit, despite them, of course, being used as medicine since time immemorial, right? 100 years ago, right, there was the pharmacopoeia. Okay? It's the list of all the things doctors use as medicines, and what was in there, of course. Tinctures of cannabis, opium, laudanum, all right? And so medicine has largely been completely perverted by the super rich, okay? And while technology and while Big Pharma has certainly made many strides in medicine, the many things that Americans face every day, aches and pains and nausea, or just, being beat up from life, can largely be treated with the plants we evolved with. Okay, it's not by accident that us little mammals have these systems that interact with cannabinoids, opiates, or psychedelics. It's because over millions of years we evolved with these plants. And so you, the public, have had the wool pulled over your eyes by the richest of the rich in the United States and around the world. It basically seems like they all got together and probably had some weird fucked up orgy and got all fucking drunk or something at the UN and decided to make all the plants we evolved with illegal on purpose to make you all go through big pharma to acquire the basic things that cultures like the Native Americans, the Vikings, the Mayans, and all these other sort of folks use forever, okay, to enhance their ability to have endurance for travel or as medicine or as anti-aging or in ceremony or religion or whatever you want to call it. And then, of course, if you take the time to read behind most of the religions, what is actually behind that? Well, it's using the plants as medicine, psychedelics, cannabinoids, and things like that. So here we are, 2023, and of course, not one politician will actually straight talk about the easy way to solve some of the largest problems facing the American public today. Okay. And that is, let's talk about the opioid epidemic first, right? So you have basically millions of Americans that have been touched by this out of every social class, every race. Okay. And what do you have no one in government talking about? The simple fact that just like cannabis, the poppy plant has an entourage effect, as do the mushrooms and other plants. Okay. And as does the coca leaf, right? So basically you've seen the super rich outlaw the natural healing plant forms of all the major classes of plants that we really truly evolved with that are psychoactive in nature, that are beneficial to humans. And they have flooded the world with the harmful, basically, extracts of these plants that are single compound and have a very narrow, basically, therapeutic effect and a much higher addiction potential. And so if anyone in your government here in America gave a shit about you, they would talk about this, okay? And they would talk about how logical it would be for doctors to have the ability to give people full spectrum poppy plant products instead of single compound pharmaceutical products that are inferior in nature much of the time and far more addictive. Okay. But, you know, whatever the conspiracy theories might say, they're either scared to talk about it. They think they're going to get assassinated or whatever. You know, over here in Dr. D land, we got fucking big guns and, you know, security teams and relations to special forces and local cops on the ground. And all of us, the American public, are pretty much fucking fed up with shall we say, psychopaths or sociopaths that have done this to the country. By the way, George Washington was smoking hash with TJ back in the day, right? So the country was founded by people that were using the plants we evolved with, and then whack corporate interests basically got a hold of the United States of America and pretty much destroyed it. Okay. And that's a big point, right? So what are using the plants to do? You hang out and you talk with your fellow human. Okay. I've visited all the tribes. Whether you're smoking meth or you're smoking weed or you're smoking opium or you're smoking whatever it may be, you're using shrooms. Okay. The one thing you're at least not doing is sitting there watching TV doing nothing. You're hanging out with your friends and you're communicating. Okay. So that's exactly what the governmentes don't want you to do, because when people stop watching TV and start talking, they realize how absolutely absurd what all is going on in the United States is. And that is the absurd drug war, the absurd corrupt wars, the absurd money laundering out into war zones, the absurd money laundering out of the United Nations, and all of that garbage, right? So, yeah, so basically the United States needs to be retaken by the burners, okay? So that's a big message that the people actually need to put a candidate in, like, real talk about the failed response to COVID, the failed response by the government to talk logically about any of the drug war, right? About any of the plants we evolved with, about anything that pretty much you care about, high taxes, whatever. And so I think this all starts right. And my point in my role in this is I just happen to, as many of you know, have encountered the sociopath bloodlines out in California. All right. And so these people happily will steal your life savings. They will lie. They will lie in court. They just go down lying. And it's very interesting if you read the criminal justice literature, right? You can actually have these criminals blood tested, genetically tested. And if their DNA is found to have basically regions where they lack basically the DNA that codes for empathy and other things, they've actually been able to imprison these little mutants longer, things like that. So yeah, some folks would describe it as biblical good versus evil. I would say, it's probably a blend of shitty genetics and, the way these sorts of people are raised. So I just happened to get a call one day from the YPO out in California. I guess they'd heard I was, a rising star in the cannabis space out there. And they had me come out and talk to their membership about basically the weed industry and medical products you could make. And then they promptly lured me into an advanced Ponzi scheme to try and steal from me and other family businesses in the cannabis space and raise, $100 million off of our backs and then only use it for their cronies in the YPO. And now the YPO used to be something that was a prestigious title given to the best of the best, basically CEOs all over the world. But now it's pretty much become a scarlet letter where it's like, if you want to go in the YPO and be known as a shitbag that basically takes all the money offshore and rapes the American people, that's what it means to be YPO, okay? So YPO used to be cool. Now, basically, it's connected to Medicare fraud. It's connected to probably homeless money fraud. It's connected to beating the shit out of novice investors, including African Americans, women, young people, and pretty much anybody that the super rich in America think that they can step on because they have money. But what they've forgotten was we, the people, like the Independence was written, Declaration of Independence was written, we actually outnumber them. Okay, and there's a lot of laws on the books to protect people like us from basically American corporate sociopaths. And so this is a very interesting time now that I have become basically the spearhead of litigation that has the possibility of going class action and actually changing the face of American politics or changing the face of basically the cannabis industry in the United States for the far betterment of the American family, all right, especially in California. And so I think, this has been a little bit of an introductory talk on some of these issues. But yes, the litigation needs to be fought out in California. It needs to be, the regulations need to be enforced so that corporate America cannot continue to basically destroy the family businesses, which are the backbone of the United States cannabis industry. They are the ones that fought for legalization. They are the ones that went to jail. They are the ones that have been wrongly, basically harmed for decades by the sociopathic mafias that made cannabis, poppies, and psychedelics illegal in the first place, so their rich families could benefit from them, and you couldn't, okay? And this should really, right, if any doctors out there aren't complete pussies, right, they, as well as you, the public, should basically immediately begin to grow all of the plants that we evolved with and make your own medicines, okay? So you're no longer basically dependent on Big Pharma and the Sackler families that have murdered you en masse, right? Remember the Sackler families went and got all the hot chicks, okay, to go talk to the doctors that have been stuck in a library, not getting any pussy. And they went out to all the doctors and they said, oh, here's the OxyContin, here's this. And they lied about the addiction potential of single compound opioids as compared to, remember, full spectrum extracts of plants. Just like full spectrum cannabis extract has a much lower, basically, abuse potential than single and a much higher window of efficacy than single compound CBD or single compound THC. The same applies for the full spectrum extracts of poppies and other things. Much harder to kill yourself on a natural plant extract than basically single compound oxycodone and other shit like that. All right. So basically, there needs to be a return to some of the principles of medicine, of premium non nocere, of do no harm, and use your fucking brains and give the American people the plant medicines they evolved with and stop slaughtering them with single compound opiates and stuff like that. All right. So hopefully the litigation that I'm involved with against the YPO turns class action. Hopefully it yields hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in damages, possibly up to $1 billion for all the people that they've harmed. And hopefully it leads to a protection of the family business, okay, and of the families in California. And so then I'll close this on, I was also MK Ultra. Some of you may notice that I was invited out, and then I was given a big whack of psychedelics, as you can read about in the CIA literature. And then I was attempted to be run and acquired into a corporation where I would have lost control of my software. And so this all basically goes back to, once again, the plant medicines we evolved with need to be taken out of the hands of the CIA, out of the hands of the rich families that abused them and abused you, the American public, and created the opioid epidemic, locked you up for weed. Okay, the American public are not as free as they think. Okay, they have been truly oppressed by the United States government. And remember, civil asset seizure is still a thing. Basically, if the law enforcement agencies think you're up to anything, they can pretty much fuck your life over and take everything you have and lock it away before you even do due process. Okay. And it'll cost you a fortune to get it back in legal fees if you do get it back. So there's a lot of things that would have to be changed to really unscrew what the super rich have done to the United States to make it worth fighting for, right? And so I think that's a really good thing. If the super rich do not get it together and do not start treating the American public with respect, then the American public should refuse to fight in World War III, and they should let China blow the United States away and just surrender. All right? So why should the American public stand up and fight? Why? Their money is laundered away through the United States. Horrible tactical decisions are made to just pump munitions and money blindly into one of the most corrupt countries in the world, Ukraine, where the Bidens were just probably like, I don't know, maybe Hunter was like sucking some dick for coke or something. He did fuck his dead brother's war dead wife, right? Who the hell fucks your brother's war dead wife? Hunter Biden, I guess. What a fucking gem we have in the White House. So anyways, guys, listen. So like, we're on tour, all right? We're in Scottsdale now. We're going to be in Vegas. We're going to be in Los Angeles. We'll be in Diego. We'll be in SF, then rapidly Austin, Miami, New York City, DC, Richmond. And we are using our brains, and we are helping the naturopathic doctors deploy the low-cost treatment to COVID nationwide and then internationally. I am Dr. D. I was the head doctor, if some of you are listening don't know, that ran one of the most viral telemedicine services in the history of the United States, seeing over 1,000 patients a day and building out the doctor team to handle all that traffic. And we have now built that technology to wrap around the healthcare system and are rebuilding it. That means we have one app that you can fly around in and see providers for a wide variety of things, with a focus currently on mental health care, COVID, opiate detox coming soon, and then clubhouses, okay? So just like Uber disrupted the taxis and increased access and lowered costs, we are doing that to healthcare and spa. And that means that you guys out in Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube land get a network of mansions to play in for $99 a month. And you can go to these places 24 hours a day, all right? And there's no alcohol. You can order healthy food out of the app. You can order cool treatments like red light or pulsed electromagnetic field therapy or mild hyperbarics or massage. Or you can do psychedelic treatment and have a sitter, and all these sorts of things are coming, all right? So the future of healthcare and the future is rapidly approaching, and we are super excited to be part of it. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Okay, we'll bring you a very cool schedule of guests. The schedule will be published online. You'll be able to see it in the Everyone's MD app eventually. And so if you do want to start to follow along as we start to really activate the decentralized digital hospital that I am flying and tying into physical locations all across the United States and internationally very shortly, you should download Everyone's MD. It's in the iPhone App Store now. All right. You can also check it out online. The Android app will be out in a couple of weeks. And then for all of you that want to make money and help people and help reclaim healthcare in the United States from the ass clowns in charge, you can stay tuned for the affiliate program. All right. And so remember, the way my business is legal is that I am a subscription-based technology company that takes no money from the doctors and no money from the pharmacies, unlike other shady people. All right? And that means I get to share my subscription fee with you, the affiliates. So for every user you sign up, it's $20 a month, okay? Once you break 100 signups, all right? Every month in perpetuity for as long as your users are active. So that means, hot babes out there, bring me 100 people, you get $2,000 a month, okay? Bring me 200, you get $4,000 a month, every month, for as long as you keep them active. And if this all goes down and works, well, they'll probably be active forever because the volume, all right? We do volume, all right? We make our money on volume, not charging you outrageous fees so your doctor can buy another sailboat, okay? We charge you not that much money, bring one nationwide international branch of healthcare, and we use economies of scale to drive down pricing, okay? And the doctors and pharmacies and all the people in the healthcare system that have been fucking you, the American public, are about to get a rude wake-up call. Because if they don't play with us, we are going to slowly suck away patience, okay? And if you don't think it's going to happen, it's going to happen, all right? I'm so cash positive right now. I have investors begging me to take their money, which I don't really want, okay? But I can, all right? And so whenever I want to, I can start funding different business units and build hospitals in a decentralized format. I can put my hospitals on trains. I can move them around if I want to, the way I build, okay? So things need to change. The rich have taken advantage of this country for way too long. The doctors, the pharmaceutical companies, all of those people have blood on their hands for the amount of Americans that they have let be slaughtered by the bullshit drug war, big pharma's bullshit, and all the other stuff that could easily be fixed. And Evrod, bro, am I okay? Why don't you just not tune in, dude? All right, everybody. See you later.